And this is the actual fireside of this fireside chat.
Okay.
So yeah, let's start with the round one. Can you move? Yeah. So the round one is this or that.
This.
You will be given two options, and you have to reveal your preference according to the first instinct that you get out of these two options. So the first question is, who would you rather trust to handle a critical support escalations at scale, an AI agent or a human expert?
Today, a human expert.
So that shows where your trust lies.
Yes,
Truly.
100%. Because for all the things that I said in the last 20 minutes or something, you can imagine we're just getting started,
Yeah.
right? And it's us who's writing these guys, these robots right now, and they're definitely not in a place where we can trust the robots to do the job that we have to do, right? So 100% human today, and it will continue to shift. It will still be humans, but AI augmented humans.
Okay. Which solution is more feasible and robust? Human in loop for the decision making or fully autonomous AI agent?
Eventually, it'll be fully autonomous. That's where we want to get to. For the longest time that I can foresee, it's going to be a human in the loop. And especially, when I was talking about evals, it's about providing the feedback and making it better, understanding where it's failing and then making it better.
What would you prefer personally when you chat with the agents? Do you do a text chat, even using Chat GPT or any of the AI agents, AI chatbots? Do you prefer texting or voice assistants?
I am doing 95%, I'm doing text. And then text, now almost 80%, I'm writing JSON prompts, and then I'm getting AI to help me improve those prompts. So then I can just copy and paste and store them. So I have my own archive of prompts. But I'm using voice when I'm on a treadmill or elliptical machine and I'm trying to learn a new topic. So I'm just like talking to it, and it's super effective. It's super effective as a learning tool.
It's a very productive way of doing things.
Yeah,
Yeah.
trust me. There are times when like 5:30 or 6 in the morning, my wife walks into the office like, "Why are you doing early cover? Who are you talking to?" And now she knows who I talk to, but she heard strange voices. And I was talking one day, I was talking to Grok, and the other day I was talking to ChatGPT.
That's a nice one. I also tried this. I used two mobiles and one chat GPT was talking to another one and I was just listening their conversation.
Yeah, you are even better than me. You're getting them to, to talk to each
Yeah.
other.
You won't be given any option now, but you have to be faster than LLMs.
Okay.
So the first one is one. Just give us one AI tool you can't live without.
Definitely ChatGPT. If I had to go for a second one, it was Grok. And I use them a lot because I prompt in one and then I test it with the other one and so on.
Mhm. That's a nice one. Then, if you could automate one aspect of your life with AI, what would that be?
Writing my emails. I just don't like like doing it anymore, or even my PowerPoints or whatever.
Okay. So, what's one task you hope AI never takes over?
I think I'm past that stage, but I don't think it ever ends. It's like parenting my children. I do not want AI to parent my children. And I think some of that might be happening without me knowing, but fine.
If your AI assistant had a personality, what would it be like? You can name any of the characters, superhumans, or anyone your favorite
That's
ones.
a really difficult one. I never thought of it that way. If my AI agent had a personality, what would that be? I'm happy for it to just have any robotic personality. You know, what was that? Jarvis, yeah, I think Jarvis makes sense. I think that's a good one. What I don't want is like when you go to Grok or some of these agents, it prompts you to kind of put like a Mickey Mouse on it or something like that, right? It has these avatars, and it suggests like which avatar would you like to use. I chose none of them because that's I don't know. To me personally, it feels like a very weird thing, But so as long as they stay robots, and Jarvis is a good one.
We'll go with Jarvis.
Yes, I'll go with Jarvis. That's fine.
Since you can use the child version of the avatar.
That was not me. If you like, I can bring my mom on this call. She can verify.
So your mom will be a evaluation agent for us.
My mom can be the eval, exactly.
Okay.
Perfect eval.
So, what's the quirkiest thing, the weirdest thing that you have ever asked an AI agent?
I think the weirdest thing I might have had it do, because I was trying to explain to my son, now it's been like probably a couple of months or something. He and I were debating on uh, how multiple agents should work with each other and to what level of micro scale you should break those down to so that it's effective. And we were debating that. And then the example I took was if you really had to, in this case, if you really had to go have your agent cook you, let's say, an Indian tikka masala, how would you go about doing that? Right. And so that was the weirdest thing we did, but like we actually literally wrote it down, and it was very interesting because you go, look, I'm going to have a grocery agent, and then I'm going to have a recipe agent, and then I'm going to have an eval agent, which could be one of the top chefs, because, I love North Indian tikka masala. So, if you pick like 2 or 3 personalities who are very well known, there's enough information that, AI can get. And then you can create evals, and then, how they evaluate some of these other agents, and then what needs to change, in terms of picking the grocery. So grocery agent now is getting instructions, or like, RL coming back. So we had that thing, and we did it. And finally, like, we both got to the same place where we were agreeing with each other. And then we were looking at what we had created, and it was all about chicken tikka masala. And it was just like hilarious. But I think that's probably as far as I've gone so far.
Yeah, that's most likely the most weirdest thing I've ever done. But
Thank you for the
that's all.
comment.
So, if you had $1 million to bet at one AI idea, what problem would you like to solve that? I mean, through that idea, what problem would you
Yeah,
solve?
that's a great question, and I have my bets right now um, on the infrastructure build out that's happening across the globe for AI. Right. This is, I mean, we already had a lot of momentum before AI became a thing with cloud itself. Right. You all know that. I mean, you probably saw in Amy's email, we have more than 400 data centers across the globe. Think about it. Right. How crazy that is. Meta has similar, and Amazon is doing similar, and Google is doing similar, and like all these other companies, cloud company, Oracle is doing similar. And then, like, data center is about, it's not just about GPUs, it's certainly about GPUs, because, we read a lot of NVIDIA and AMD and so on in the news, but it's also a lot about power. Power is a huge thing, right? To an extent where in some countries now, companies who are building these large data centers, they're building their own nuclear power uh, generators, right? And it's like, so if you kind of, when you get my point, right, that whole infrastructure build out is a huge thing. Um, and I think the world is going to need more and more and more and more and more of compute, storage, and network. Right. So to me, like all my bets are on that. By the way, before you go to that, like you may ask him, where did he put his $10 million?
He's not here. That's why I took his
You
name.
told me you asked her to ask me about where will I put $1 million in the world of AI. So now I want to know where will you put your $10 million? Cheating.
So Ravi asked me to add this to know your bank balance. Now we know yours.
Yes.
And I saw the first line that you mentioned in your about was every organization and every field, every sectors is going through the digital disruptions. And while it is advantage for most of us, but it might be a crisis for many organizations. So that triggered me a question like how did you think of this, and how can we convert this crisis into an opportunity?
Yeah, look, I mean, it is real, and it has been real for some time. These companies digitally transform either some parts of their business or their business. And the reason why they were spending like millions and millions and millions of dollars to do that, so that they can stay competitive compared to their competitors within their own industries. Right. So your healthcare, you're not competing with Microsoft. If you're healthcare, you're competing with other healthcare providers. You're a telco, you're competing with your telco providers, right? So every industry has a crisis, and then the more digital transformation you go do with one company, that puts pressure on the other company and creates a crisis there. Not everybody is being able to be successful. And this was in the world of cloud. With AI, this problem now amplifies itself, because there are companies who will be very successful in leveraging AI to do things faster, better, cheaper, right? Or even do things that never could be done before, create new cash flows, open up new lines of businesses, right? And then there are other companies who are moving slower, right? Or they're failing, project after project, right? So that's the crisis moment that I was really kind of thinking about when I wrote that, and it is very true. It is also very true, by the way, in our own case. In the case of Microsoft, I mean, we are doing a fantastic job as it relates to AI. We are leading the industry and so on, but every day is a burning platform for us, because like things have to move at a speed, otherwise, like someone is going to catch up, and we will be in this business. You can be disrupted overnight. I mean, so disruption in this industry is a very, very real thing for everybody.
And as Satya also mentioned in its recent email, that growth is never linear. It will always be having waves of higher and lower peaks.
100%.
So, Thank you so much, Anurag, for sharing your insights and
Great.
perspective.
This is great. Thank you. Thanks for, giving me the opportunity to talk to all of you. And every time I speak, I'm kind of learning, and I know there's just collective work that needs to happen in this space, and you all are invested in that. I mean, so thank you for being a great team.